Hey guys, my name's Alex, also known as Arekkz from the Arekkz Gaming YouTube channel. And how did I get into content creation? Well, first things first, I run the channel with my friend Matthew, aka 269. In fact, starting the channel was his idea. We went to university together, we went to work at Microsoft together, and while we were working at Microsoft, he had the idea to start this channel. Initially, it was more of a hobby. We didn't really know what we wanted to do. We were just uploading gameplay from games that we were playing and enjoying at the time. And then gradually we started to introduce voiceover, a slightly more editorial aspect to our content. We focused primarily on information because that's, the sort of stuff that we were passionate about. So, news for upcoming games or, guides, tips, walkthroughs, how to do things, anything like that. Anything that would sort of help people playing the games that we were playing is essentially what we were kind of going after. Now, the first couple of years for me, it was more about me finding my feet because I'd never done something like that before, so I didn't necessarily have the confidence to speak on camera, be on camera, anything like that. So I would definitely say the first couple of years, I wasn't fully set on my love for content creation, but then during my time at Microsoft, I left working as a tester and then I moved over to an associate producer role on Upload, which was the video platform for Xbox One. And while I was there, I had to do yet more content creation. I did video production, presenting, I did social media management, account management, loads of things, but I think the video aspect of that definitely really helped solidify my love for content creation. I worked with the video team there that helped kind of build my confidence when I was on camera and stuff, and then gradually it just really started to become a passion for me. I would go to work and produce videos, I would come home and produce videos. It was basically the thing that I did all the time. So that's definitely how I kind of got into it. And then, fast forward a little bit further, I left Microsoft, and now YouTube is what we both do full time. With regards to what is my biggest success story or the content that I'm most proud of, I'd say it sort of comes in a few different ways. I'd say one of the biggest things, ultimately is just being able to run a channel that is now a job for both myself and Matthew. We work for ourselves, we produce content for ourselves, the fact that we started from, right from the bottom, and also not necessarily when YouTube was like new. We kind of came in a little bit late, if anything, to YouTube. So that in itself is something that we're super proud of. But on the content front, I'd say there's three main things that stand out for me, because the first one was probably Destiny. That was a point in the channel's history that really sort of springboarded us into doing daily content. Before that, it was a little bit sporadic, but then given the recurring nature of a game like Destiny, these sort of games as a service, that sort of springboarded us into doing daily content. So that was a really big growth point for the channel, something we were quite proud of back then. I'd say also The Division. The Division was a big game for us because we actually covered that a couple of years before it even came out. So before there was even, before people were even playing the game, we were just covering it, covering news, and then it got to the point that when it launched, there were a lot of people that came to the channel because we were, one of the main people in the community, and that was a huge time for us. It was, we made some really fun content with that. We worked really closely with the publishers and developers, and just, in terms of actual channel growth, it was a really good time for us. And then we've also been able to somewhat replicate that with Monster Hunter recently. I mean, Monster Hunter is a game that I've been playing for about 8 years now, playing since the Freedom Unite version on PSP, but I've been covering it since 3 Ultimate, and of course with the announcement of World, I was then covering it extensively from the announcement all the way up to launch. We've now got to the point where the game is out, people have been, coming to the channel for a regular stream of Monster Hunter content, and it's actually some of the content that I am most proud of. I've worked really hard on some tutorials that basically kind of go over all the different weapons in the game. They take quite a long time to make. I've put like a lot of effort into graphics and stuff for them, but they are probably the videos that I am most proud of. What am I looking forward to in the next 12 months of games? Well, it's kind of funny. That's a funny question because both this year and last year, the games that I were most looking forward to basically came out at the beginning of the year. So I'm a huge Nintendo fan, I'm a huge Zelda fan. So last year, Breath of the Wild, Nintendo Switch came out right at the beginning of the year. So I was already happy at the beginning of the year. I was like, you know what? Whatever happens the rest of this year, I honestly don't mind because I've had my game. And that also applied to this year, 2018, because Monster Hunter for me is my other favorite franchise. So the fact that's just come out, I've already had my game. So I'd say for me, the things that I'm most looking forward to are probably the things that we don't even know are coming yet. The sort of things that they'll announce at E3, like the unknown projects. I'm looking forward to seeing what else Nintendo have for Nintendo Switch. I'm really hoping for that Smash Brothers port, as well as a lot of like new games. I want them to start dipping into some of their, existing IPs. On top of that, I'd say I'm also looking forward to finding out more about Anthem. Of course, there's the obvious ones as well, like God of War, Red Dead Redemption 2, but I'd say for me, it's definitely the unknown. I'm definitely really keen to see what Nintendo do, how they can kind of maintain that momentum with the Nintendo Switch, and of course, whatever other surprises they have in store for us at E3. Is the channel part of a wider network? Yes, we are part of Gamer Network or Eurogamer Network. It is a UK-based network comprised of both YouTube channels and games media sites. It's a really, really cool network. It's been nice to work really closely with those guys, over the years to sort of, grow the channel. And as part of that, I also work really closely with the guys over at VG247. So whenever I cover something, something that's hot, whether it be like Destiny or Monster Hunter or Division, then they'll work on, accompanying articles and things. So that's a great thing to be a part of. And it's just also great to be part of a UK-based network so we can just all grow things together. With regards to sponsored content and what sort of stuff we are working on or have worked on in the past, I'd say sponsored content for us on the channel is always something we take very serious, but we're also very particular about as well. We will only ever, work on sponsored content if it's something we genuinely believe in. So talking about products, for example, we are sponsored by Arekkz, and I do that because they make genuinely good products. Their headsets are the best headsets I've ever used. Their keyboard, their mice, any of the products they've got, they are genuinely good products that I believe in, and I'm perfectly happy to recommend them to people. If someone says to me, what's a good headset, I'll point them directly to Arekkz. And I do that because, as mentioned, they're quality products that I'm perfectly happy to work with. And of course, the same thing applies for games. If someone comes to me, with the offer of doing a sponsored video for a game, I will do it if it's a game that I would normally play, or if it's within the spectrum of things I would play. So if there's a new game coming out that's like a game that I played, and there's a a sponsored offer on that, I will definitely be willing to check it out. But on the contrary, I would not. Like, for me personally, I'm not a fan of football. If someone came to me and said, hey, will you do a sponsored video for this football game? Chances are I'd probably say no, because it's not something that I have any knowledge of, it's not something that I feel passionate about, and it's not something I feel I could then, honestly go to my audience and say, you should check this game out. So we do work on sponsored content, but I would say it's very particular. It always has to fall within things that I am genuinely believe in, genuinely passionate about, and things that I feel comfortable telling other people to go and check out. Do I work with publishers and developers on upcoming games? And the answer is yes, or at least kind of, to a certain extent. So if a game's about to launch and it's a game that I'm really keen on covering, I'll be in touch with publishers to try and get early review copy, because that's a massive help when it comes to content creation. Just having the time to get videos out early. I mean, that in itself is a massive win, because if you can get videos out early, then people kind of come to you for that information, which is great. But on top of that, it's just from a production point of view. If I have a game early, it means I can spend time making the videos to get them ready, whereas if I have to wait until the game launches, there's just this mad rush. I always use the comparison point between, take say, Monster Hunter and Destiny. Destiny is a game that, you never get it early because the servers go live for everyone at the same time. So generally speaking, when the game launches, everyone's scrambling to make content. Whereas a game like Monster Hunter, I was very fortunate enough to have it a little bit early, which gave me a chance to progress through the game, think about videos, spend some time making some videos, making sure the quality was good. So it is really important to be able to have that relationship with publishers, and I think that's something that I was able to kind of solidify thanks to my time working at Microsoft as well. When I did account management, I learned, very quickly how to work with publishers, how to work with developers, and I think that's really benefited me working on YouTube. It also then means that if you want to do anything slightly more ambitious, then you know how to go to them. You can go to them and be like, I know what I want, I know what you want in return, so it's just a good way to build that working relationship. What are the plans for the channel in the future? Well, I'd say the channel in the future, we definitely want to expand to try and sort of bring more voices in. So I mentioned in the beginning that I run the channel myself and 269. Matthew does a lot of stuff behind the scenes, SEO, content planning, analytics, a lot of that stuff like that, as well as live streaming, whereas I do a lot of the video production. But as we cover more and more games, my time gets, spread more and more thinly. So we cover a lot of these sort of what people have started to call lifestyle games or games and services. So things like Destiny, Division, Monster Hunter, we will be covering Anthem. So any of those games that basically never end, you just keep coming back to them. And the problem with that is that every time I add a new game like that to the channel, or any time that we add a new game like that to the channel, I have even less time. To try and become an expert in that game, to try and provide detailed information, requires a lot of time investment, and that is where we start to fall short. So I think the plan moving forward is definitely to try and bring more people in. We're already working with another friend of ours, Welcome to Paradise. He is also a streamer, but he's also someone that we know very well. He's done some videos on the channel already, and that's kind of our first step towards the future plans for the channel, basically trying to introduce more voices so we can then cover things, provide the same quality content that people have come to expect from us, but obviously with multiple voices, because then it just means that we can provide that broader coverage across many more games that people want from us without necessarily having to sacrifice something like quality in the process. So I definitely say, moving forwards, think of Arekkz Gaming more so as like a group, which will then gradually bring more and more people in, and that's hopefully going to allow us to do a lot more stuff moving forward.